Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Krista's Joyful Journey. I am going on a journey today. Normally on my other channel, Books and Jams, I film a vlog every other weekend, and I was going to include this video clips in my weekend vlog on my other channel. But I decided to make it its own thing and put it here on this channel because, number one, I had so much fun today. It brought me a lot of joy. That's part of what this channel is about. I know a lot of what I do over here is talk about health and challenges and goals, but I also just want to share some of the joyful, fun things that I'm doing. And this is a project that I want to continue because I loved today so much. This week, I was trying to decide what to do on the long weekend. At first, I thought I would take a trip, maybe drive up to New York to go to my mom's or go somewhere else. But then I realized I have an event at church tonight that I couldn't miss. And also I'm on the worship team on Sunday, so I had to be here for that. So then I was like, oh, but maybe I could do a little day trip here and there. Then the weather was going to be stinky. I don't know, all these things. But I decided and talked to some friends. And I started a list of small towns within a 2-hour radius of where I live that I have never been to. And of course, I started with towns that do have a bookstore at them in the town because I love books and reading, and that is something that will draw me even more to a small town. But I love a small town with a main street where you can just go from store to store, eat at a little cafe, shop in the antique store, get a little thrifting on, a little craft store maybe, or I don't know, a little boutique. I love small town vibes. I love the little shops, and I'm here for it. And that is what I did today. And so I'm going to take you along as I take a trip to Kilmarnock, Virginia. It is in the northern neck part of the state and very close to the water, even though I didn't really go all the way to the water today. I just stayed really in the main street area, checked out some shops, an art gallery, a museum, had some coffee. I don't drink coffee. I had a chai and just had a lot of fun exploring a small town. So I hope you enjoy this. It is something that I'm going to continue. I don't know how often, but every once in a while, we're going to call them small town adventures in Virginia. I don't know. I'll probably think of some catchier name that is part of the title already, but I hope you enjoy my day visiting a small town. I am headed out today to do a little exploring. I'm going to drive about an hour and a half to a small town in the northern neck part of Virginia. I think it's called Kilmarnock. And there are 2 bookstores there, one used and one new, and a cute little antique or thrift store. I think there's 2 of those. Today looks like it's going to be the least rainy day of the weekend. This weekend is supposed to be pretty rainy, but when I looked at the weather for Kilmarnock, it just looked overcast and chilly. So I've got a sweater on and I have an umbrella with me just in case. So yeah, we're just gonna go exploring and see what we got going on. I do have an event at church tonight that I have to be there at 6, but that should give me plenty of time to go do a little shopping. I'm gonna hopefully get a cafe. It's 7:48 right now. So I'm hoping to go sit in a cafe and read. Let's go exploring. All right, I made it to Kilmarnock. Got myself a coffee at this place. Sat inside for a little bit, reading on my Kindle. Started a new book, Beth O'Leary's Swept Away. Not loving the beginning of it, but now I'm gonna walk down the main street a little, see what we can get up to. This little antique slash, I don't know what kind of store this is, Each little booth, I think, is run by somebody different. It's a lot to look at. It's kind of fun wandering around in here. See what I can find. I am back in the car, but I'm not done. It's 11:51 and I did like part of the street. Went into a couple antique stores, a thrift store, and like a local rivery, beachy themed gift shop, a bookstore, a popcorn store, and got a few things. First of all, I got this is their like local events and something little magazine for what's going on around town. So I thought I'd look at that during lunch. At the thrift store, I picked up 3 books because they were only 50 cents a piece. So The Sun Does Shine, I grab whenever I see it because I like to give this book away. And it was only 50 cents and it's in decent condition. So that is a book I love to give away. I don't even think I own my copy anymore. I've let someone borrow it, haven't gotten it back. So now I have it again to give away again. And then I got 2 paperbacks of hardcovers that I have. I prefer reading in a paperback. The hardcover is nicer, but I got Homecoming by Kate Morton. Now all of my Kate Mortons are paperback, so that's perfect. And then We Begin at the End by Chris Whitaker. Both of these are big old hardcovers that I can now sell on Pango, but they were 50 cents a piece, so I didn't spend a lot of money. But I did get 1 book from the indie bookstore, All in Her Hands by Audrey Blake. There was a bunch in there that I was tempted by, but I know this is one that I have on NetGalley. I did read the first one, which was, oh man, what's it called? The Girl in His Shadow. And then this is kind of the sequel to that. So I'm excited to read it, about a female doctor in London in 1849. And Dr. Nora is the only female surgeon in London. The Girl in His Shadow is about her learning and training to become a doctor. And then I got the sticker for the bookshelf. So cute. I've decided one of my book carts is going to get stickered up all over with bookstore stickers that I've been to. And I got a plant pot that has a drainage tray, because I have a bunch of pots that don't have the drainage tray and I don't think the plants are doing very well in them. So I was a sucker and it was $1, so got that. But there is a crafty store, a stationery store, there's a museum that I think is free, and then there's a used bookstore in the library. And then I think that might be it for this little town, but I'm going to try to find a place to eat lunch as well and a place to go for a walk, because it's a gorgeous day. It's like 68 right now. Actually, I'm a little warm in this sweater, but comfortable enough with my sleeves pushed up a bit. But yeah, gonna carry on exploring. It's so much fun. I love this. And I'm so thankful that it's not raining. I just spent, oof, something from the tree just fell on me. I just spent a few minutes in a little museum, which is that little house right there. So cute. One of the guys who runs it, it's like 90 something years old, full of stories. Talked to him for quite a while, learned a lot of things that I didn't know that I cared about, but it was super interesting. He was so sweet. And then I left my car here and went down into a few more shops and an art gallery. And now I'm gonna head down the road a little farther to the library because there's a used bookstore in the library, and then find a place for lunch. And then I think I might call it a day. But it's been so much fun to explore this little town. I love it. I just found this random little farm stand on the side of the road as I was headed back towards home. Still haven't had lunch anywhere. I haven't found a spot that is speaking to me, but I thought I'd stop in at this farm stand. All right, my friends, I am back home and I thought I would do a little haul of all of the things that I got today to wrap this video up. I had such a fun time. I already can't wait to pick another town and do it again because it was so much fun. It was so much fun. So let me see, nothing is sorted out. Nothing is sorted out. So I'm just going to kind of go through my bags. At that little farm stand that I stopped in at the end, I got an Amish made sourdough loaf, as well as some peppermint patty candies, homemade chocolate candies. I'm so excited for those. And also a little cake, a little blueberry crumb cake. All those are sourced from nearby Amish that bring stuff to that farm stand. So I'm excited for those. At the thrift store at the beginning, I think I showed you the books that I got. Homecomings, The Sun Does Shine, and We Begin at the End. And then this is the little plant pot that I got. It's just a cream kind of white color, but it does have this tray. So I'll put a couple rocks at the bottom so that the water is able to go through and the plant will be happy. That was only $1. I'm excited because it's so cute. So cute. At the museum, I got a little history novella, a short little book about the history of Kilmarnock. I am going to read this because that man was so kind and just shared a lot with me. So I have a couple brochures, and in this magazine, there's an article he said about the first woman the first woman missionary to China, who's from Kilmarnock. And there's an article about her in this magazine. So I'm going to read that tonight as well. Look through those a little bit more. At the popcorn store, I did try a bunch of popcorn, and they gave you a whole little cup full. It wasn't just 2 or 3 pieces. I ate a lot of popcorn today. But the bag that I decided to go with was Snickerdoodle, and I've already been munching on it in the car on the way home. It was delicious. It is delicious. So I'm excited to keep eating that. And then I saw these paintbrushes all over today. They're Emily Lay, who I do watch some of her videos, I believe, on YouTube. I think that's who I watch. I have been wanting nicer watercolor brushes because the ones that I have are just the cheapo ones, and I don't feel like they do the same things as when I watch a tutorial. So I wanted to get a nice set. These ones were a little pricey. It was $28 for the 5 different sizes, but I do feel like it will help me enjoy the watercolor even more when the brushes do what they're supposed to do. So I'm going to get rid of my cheapo ones and just keep the nice ones. At the indie bookstore, I got All in Her Hands. I think I told you about that as well. That bookstore was so nice and bright and lovely. The Bookshelf, it was called. Yeah, and I got the sticker to put on my cart. So All in Her Hands, historical fiction about a female doctor in London. And then my final 2 purchases were in the used bookstore that was in the library. Their prices were super cheap as well. All paperbacks were $1 and hardcovers were $2. In my recent video about elderly main characters, a couple people in the comments told me about this book, The Secret Diary of Hendrik Groen, 83 and a half years old. 83 and a quarter years old. So I picked this up and it was only $1. Elderly main character. It's all I needed to know. And then I also picked up this for $2, Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. Mapping meaningful connection in the language of human experience. There's quote pages. Where did the photographs go? I know I saw some. Anyways, it's a beautiful book. It's very heavy. I'm going to have fun looking through it, I think. And that brings me to the end of my first small town adventure. I am going to make this a series and continue to visit small towns around the area. I'm very excited to do a little bit more exploring in Virginia, right here in my little neck of the woods. It's perfect for a day trip. I was home by 4 o'clock. Something that I did learn though, is that I need to make a plan for a lunch stop. There weren't a ton of options in Kilmarnock, and I'm sure any of them would have been fine, but I got decision paralysis. Even asking people what their favorite place was, everybody said something different. It didn't really help me. I didn't have a craving for something. So on future trips, I'm going to make a plan for lunch so I know where I'm going to stop. Even if it doesn't matter what time, I'm going to have a plan. This is where I'm going to eat lunch. I'm excited to continue this series of a little adventuring. I think it's good to explore places near me. I don't always plan to get as many books, but this stop had books in a thrift store and then 2 bookstores. And so of course I had to stop. I hope that you enjoyed this different kind of a video, and thank you so much for watching. I look forward to chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.